This project is to make a typical banner on the top of a web page, kind of like the Blackboard's announcements page. For this, you are going to make something from nothing. In other words, there's going to be no scanned images, nothing borrowed from the internet. You're going to use some recipes to create somethings from nothings. So first, let's create a new document. Call it banner. And your initials. And make it 1550 pixels wide and 285 pixels deep. If your new panel is not set up for pixels, change it to that. Leave it at 72 and at RGB and hit OK. You're going to put guides on this file to help you figure out exactly how big you're going to need something. So I'll show you how to do that. Drag it big. Hit Control R to get the rulers. And drag down from the top. You can see it hitting the 50 right there on the side, approximately. And then drag down again. And we're going to leave it at 235. That's 50 up from the bottom. I'm going to go 50 over from the side. And then 50 over from the side, this side too. Also going to drag in 400 from each side, so we have a center place to work from. 400 and 400. This is the area we're going to work in. We're going to fill the background with gray because that's the background that Blackboard uses. Go down to here and double click on this to get the picker up. Now you could drag down here to make it a gray, but we need an exact gray, so we're going to make sure that this is clicked here, and the hue, saturation, and brightness, and change the brightness to 40%. That will give us the gray we need. We could have typed in the hex part A666666, or we could have clicked over to here and typed this in, or typed in these numbers. Now we're going to choose the Paint Bucket tool to fill. It's right here. It might be set at gradient. If it's set at gradient, just click and hold and drag down the paint bucket. We have our gray at the top, and we're just going to click and turn this thing to gray. Now we're going to make two type layers. Click in the T in the toolbox. And go up into the area that you want to type in. Put it right there. And you get a flashing cursor. Pick a font you like. Pick a size. Pick a color. And type. Okay. There's our DSN 210. Going to make another one. Click in the Move tool to deselect. Click back in the Type tool. Click again. And type in for our second line of type. You can see when you get over that type, the move thing turns to a little I-beam. You can only edit the type when you're in this toolbox and when you have that little icon up. So I'm going to go right in the middle there and click right after image and hit the return key to make it 2 lines. I'm going to highlight like that, once again, with that I-beam and the T selected. I have the character showing. Click there to get it to show. I'm going to decrease the leading by highlighting this and using the arrow keys to reduce that. I'm going to increase the size, highlight that, and increase the size. I'm going to change the width of the characters here. Once again, up. Let's make it about 150% wide. Okay. And then I'm going to increase the size still a little bit more. Just kind of using the arrow keys and highlighting these to get what I want. Works pretty good. It's centered here. I'm going to go up to this other one, switch, deselect, then go back to type again. And you can see the little dotted line around there, around the I-beam. If that dotted line is around there, you will set a new type layer. Only when that dotted line goes away, like that, can you edit the type that you're on. So let's just double click into there and change its width to 150. I guess I could have typed in 150 there. And I'm going to change the space between the letters. So I'm going to go here, then scoot that up. So it's pretty widely spaced like that. And go here. Now I have my 2 letters. I can select that and move that around. I can select that and move it around. I can go into the Layers panel and hold the Shift key down and select both of those and go up to here and align them. I want to align on centers. There. They were pretty good. All right. Now I want to select them both and just scoot them around so they're sitting centered in that box. Okay. Now this is kind of boring. I think I want to put a gradient to add to the effect. So let's do that. Create another layer. Move that layer below the type layer. Notice there's a blank type layer here. I'm going to get rid of that. And in this layer, I'm going to put a gradient. So I go to the Paint Bucket tool, switch it over to gradient, pick a simple gradient. The one I'm going to use is foreground to transparent. It's the second one over. That way it will gradient from a color I choose over here to nothing, which will allow the background gray to show through. Okay, click there. Click here. Or let's click there to have this center one. Let's click this one to get reflected. And I'm going to change that to a nice dark blue, like that, and hit OK. Now I'm going to hold the Shift key down to get a left-right gradient. I'm going to go right in the middle here, and I'm going to drag to here, and I get a nice blue. So that's your simple banner. Save this file and then save as. Save. Then save as. Banner 2.